Most people assume that caring deeply about sports is normal, almost expected. If you don't follow a team, don't know the scores, don't feel anything when a championship is happening, people look at you like something's missing. But psychology suggests the opposite may be true. Because indifference to sports is not a lack of passion, it's a different wiring of reward, identity, and meaning.
Here's what's actually happening. Human beings evolved to survive in groups. For most of history, belonging wasn't optional, it was protection. Modern sports activate that same ancient circuitry. When someone watches their team, the brain releases oxytocin, the bonding chemical, the same one involved in family attachment and trust. Neuroscience shows the brain doesn't fully distinguish between a real tribe and a symbolic one. So the jersey becomes a uniform, the stadium becomes territory, and the team becomes us. But not everyone's brain leans into that mechanism. People who don't obsess over sports tend to show lower tribal dependency. Their sense of identity isn't built around group affiliation. Psychologists describe this as higher individual identity orientation, meaning their self-worth doesn't require symbolic membership to feel complete. They don't feel the pull of us versus them as strongly, so rivalry doesn't feel exciting, it feels irrelevant. Then there's dopamine. Sports fandom is fueled by anticipation, not outcome. Every play carries uncertainty. Every moment might matter. That unpredictability triggers dopamine spikes, the same reward system involved in gambling. Brain imaging studies show that watching competitive sports activates reward pathways tied to intermittent reinforcement, the most addictive reward schedule known in psychology. But here's the key difference. For some people, that system simply doesn't light up. Their dopamine receptors respond more strongly to creation than observation, to participation, not vicarious competition. Research suggests genetic variation and dopamine sensitivity plays a role in how rewarding spectator competition feels. So, if sports feel boring to you, it may not be attitude, it may be biology. There's also identity stability. Sports fans often experience something called reflected identity. When the team wins, they say, "We won." When the team loses, they say, "They lost." This emotional shifting regulates self-esteem externally. People who don't attach to sports tend to have more internally anchored identity. Their confidence doesn't rise or fall with outcomes they don't control. They don't borrow meaning, they generate it elsewhere. This doesn't mean they lack empathy. It means empathy is allocated differently. Psychological research shows that emotional investment is finite. Care placed in one domain is care unavailable elsewhere. People with low sports interest often score higher in openness to experience. They're more drawn to art, ideas, relationships, curiosity, and abstract meaning. They're not avoiding emotion, they're channeling it. And for some, indifference to sports is protective. It can be shaped by past exclusion, rejection, or simply a refusal to engage in hyper-competitive identity culture. Others just don't find meaning in outcomes that don't affect their real lives. Both are valid. At its core, this divide isn't about sports. It's about where meaning comes from. Some people experience meaning through shared spectacle, others through direct engagement. One group finds story in rivalry and comeback. The other finds it in creation, understanding, or personal growth. Psychology doesn't rank these paths, it just explains them. So if someone asks, "Did you watch the game?" and you genuinely didn't care, there's nothing missing. Your brain is simply tuned to a different source of meaning. Not broken, not boring, just calibrated differently. And once you understand that, the confusion disappears.